Are you Matthew Aldridge?
I'm the attorney of fact for Matthew Aldridge.
You were what?
The attorney of fact.
Attorney what?
Of fact.
Attorney of fact. And what does that mean?
You know, his authorization to do legal representation.
Are you a licensed attorney?
No, I'm simply an attorney of fact.
Okay. And does that mean you have a power of attorney? What is your name? What is your name?
All right, everyone. Today's court hearing is absolutely insane. We've got Matthew Aldridge, or at least that's what the paperwork says. But the guy at the podium, he's pulling the classic I don't have a name stunt, calling himself the attorney of fact, which, by the way, isn't even a real legal term. These sovereign citizen types always try to argue that the court has no authority over them. But here's the reality. Courts have jurisdiction over anyone within their area, no exceptions. The judge isn't having it for even a second and shuts him down in the most epic way. By the end, he completely outsmarts this guy. Let's dive in.
My name?
Yes, sir.
I don't have.
You don't have a name? Pardon?
Name, I'm the attorney of fact for the respondent in the area.
Well, let me explain to you. Only an attorney at law can stand in court and represent a criminal defendant. And to do so otherwise violates the criminal law statutes of the state of Tennessee and could land someone who attempts to represent themselves as an attorney at law in serious trouble. I understand what you're saying. I understand you're saying an attorney in fact. And what I want you to understand is that if you have a power of attorney, then you need to demonstrate that power of attorney. Do you have a legal document called a power of attorney?
No, I do not at this time.
Okay. Then you don't have any authority to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge in this court. You have no legal authority, nor do you have any authority through a legal document to represent or to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge.
Why don't we court just let me file this document?
Show it to the bailiff and he'll show it to me.
Have a copy of it.
Oh, apparently there's a copy here.
I mean, it's one thing for this guy to claim he's an attorney of fact, but to back it up, he literally just handed the judge a piece of paper. And I know you guys didn't see it since that part was a bit slow, but the paper basically quoted some made-up law that supposedly gives him the right to represent the person, Matthew Aldridge. Just so we're clear, real attorneys have to be licensed by the state and follow actual legal procedures. There's no DIY, single sheet of paper legal fantasy happening here. Sovereign citizens like this guy love to argue about jurisdiction, as if simply declaring themselves above the law actually works. Spoiler, it doesn't. Courts operate on well-established laws, not imaginary ones, and this judge is not here to entertain the nonsense. Honestly, is this whole sovereign citizen thing becoming more common? Or am I just unlucky enough to keep running into these bizarre cases? Let me know in the comments.
All right. Well, I find that Matthew Neal Aldridge has failed to appear personally in this court for the plea day on his case, which is set for trial tomorrow. And as a result, you have no standing, sir, under what I know what you're trying to do is to try to use the sovereign citizen approach to this situation. And I'm simply telling you that you do not have the right to represent Matthew Neal Aldridge. If you are, in fact, Matthew Neal Aldridge, then you need to say so and stop this nonsense, because what you're attempting to do has no legal effect. You cannot challenge the criminal law or the jurisdiction of this court by simply filing some legal mumbo jumbo having to do with civil litigation. That has civil litigation in it. It is not a criminal case that you have cited. So it has no effect on this court regarding the criminal statutes of this court. This court is empowered under the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the state of Tennessee, and by the duly elected citizens of Cheatham County to empower and enforce the laws of the state of Tennessee. And that is what I'm going to do regarding Matthew Lynn Aldridge. Mr. Aldridge is set for today to appear in court personally on what we call our last plea day before his trial date tomorrow.
Is that an Article 3 trial?
To what?
Will that be an Article 3 trial? A trial by jury with jury?
It would be a trial by jury, certainly it would be. But I don't know who you are. And I don't think you have any authority if you are not Matthew Lynn Aldridge to appear before this court. And you are wasting valuable time to all of these other citizens who are here today. So when I'm talking, you stop talking. No, you will when I'm finished talking. You are wasting the court's time by doing this, and I'm just simply instructing you that if you are in fact Matthew Lynn Aldridge, then this is your last day to settle your case. The trial date is set for tomorrow, and unfortunately, it will not go forward because of the fact that I have a conflict and I have to be in Stewart County on a civil matter. So we're going to assign a new trial date for Matthew Lynn Aldridge. All right. To Matthew Aldridge and the individual standing before me whose name must not be uttered.
This judge is handling this lunatic like an absolute pro. He's staying completely calm while shutting him down at every turn. The guy barely even had a chance to push his attorney of fact nonsense before the judge dismantled it piece by piece. Honestly, it seems like the judge either took this personally or has just dealt with this kind of thing way too many times before. But the funniest part? When the guy started quoting his made-up laws, and the judge straight up told him he can't even utter his own name. That was hilarious. Usually judges stay pretty stoic and don't show much expression, so seeing that moment was pretty funny, to me. From the start, it was clear this judge wasn't going to waste a second of his time on this circus act. And at the end of the day, this just proves how ridiculous and pointless these sovereign citizen stunts really are.
Then we will set a July 15th trial date for Mr. Aldridge. Whatever this document is that you have filed is in fact invalid because it does not cite any valid criminal statute, and therefore I'm denying whatever that might be in the way of a motion. The trial date will be July 15th. The last day for Mr. Aldridge to enter a plea or go to trial will be July the 8th. July the 8th. Now, we're going to give you a card. If you are in fact Matthew Aldridge and you're just playing games with the court regarding this nonsense that you filed, then you may get this card and you may go on about your business. If you are not Matthew Aldridge, then I would suggest to you, you relay to Mr. Aldridge that he must appear on July the 8th, or a bond revocation will take place, and his case will be set, will take place with him in jail, incarcerated on the 15th. That's the judgment of the court. You need to take your piece of paper and go on about your business.
Clip 4 sovereign citizens are truly something else. These are people who believe they can simply opt out of the legal system by claiming they don't recognize the government's authority. They'll go on about things like common law, or the UCC, Uniform Commercial Code, completely misunderstanding how these laws actually work. Just to be clear, courts operate under federal, state, and local laws that have been in place for centuries and are backed by the Constitution. There's no magic loophole that lets you decide the rules don't apply to you. Yet these folks clog up courtrooms with bizarre arguments, wasting everyone's time and accomplishing nothing, except maybe earning themselves a criminal record. Legally speaking, the whole sovereign citizen defense collapses because of one simple concept: jurisdiction. Courts have authority over anyone within their geographic area, no matter what legal nonsense you claim. This stuff might sound clever in their echo chambers, but judges have seen it all before, and they're not playing along. And for anyone wondering, trying to dodge taxes or beat a speeding ticket with these tactics doesn't just fail, it can actually lead to even harsher penalties for wasting the court's time. Personally, I don't get why these people keep trying this. Do they really think they're outsmarting the system, or is it just some strange form of rebellion? Either way, it's ridiculous. And honestly, a little sad. They're not fighting the system, they're just making fools of themselves. Anyway, that's going to wrap up my breakdown for today. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe.